Welcome to our session today. I'm Nicole with the École branchée and Engaged Learning. I'm very happy to be here with you today for a special presentation on student innovation for cleaner parks, young minds, big impact. I will have a few special guests with me today who wrote an article for the magazine about this topic, and I will introduce them in just a couple of minutes. So thank you for joining us today for this event. So just a quick thing on École branchée and Engaged Learning. Engaged Learning is our English magazine, our publication from École branchée. École branchée, we are a Canadian nonprofit organization. We've been around since 1996, and we work in education for the digital age. So we have different services, whether it's the magazine, we have professional development resources for training, pedagogical activities, and so forth. And our magazine is available in both English and French. So when you're subscribed to one, you get access to both. And they're not just carbon copies of the same articles. We do have exclusive content in English and other exclusive content as well as in French. So my name is Nicole, and I'm very happy to be facilitating this session with you today. So the magazine in question, the theme that we're addressing today is our latest spring issue, and it's all about teaching for a sustainable future. I have a copy with me as well here today in person with me, and it's all about the Sustainable Development Goals. And what you see on my screen right now are just a few screen captures of different articles that are featured in the magazine. And my guests today are the ones for the article here on hands-on learning for a sustainable tomorrow, how Alberta students are leading environmental change. So I'm very excited to be leading into this conversation with our guests. And for those who haven't seen the issue yet of the magazine, I do strongly recommend that you check it out. We do have the digital version available online. And one thing I always love to show is actually the poster. Every magazine issue always has a poster, and this one is one that I quite enjoy quite a bit. It actually just shows the 17 Sustainable Development Goals from the UN. So that's a nice poster to print out or just to take out and to put into your staff room and so forth for students. So without further ado, I will be starting the virtual conversation with our special guest. I am very, very pleased to introduce Caitlin Cornell and Elyse Schlichter, who are French immersion teachers with A.E. Bowers Elementary School in Rocky View Schools in Alberta. I hope I got that right, ladies. Fantastic. Caitlin wrote the article for the magazine, but she and Elyse were both the teachers for like doing the actual project with the students. And what I loved about the article, we actually had the chance to meet with, it was one of your colleagues from the university, I believe in Alberta, who met with us like over a year ago at an event. I believe it was a Summits Numériques in Montreal, I think it was. And she talked to us about the project and how authentic learning it was like for your students. And then we reached out and we connected, and then you agreed to write the article. And it was a coup de cœur for me. It was like one of my favorite articles ever because it's with such young students and you see the impact that it had on them at a very young age. So very, very happy to be with you both today. Thank you for accepting the invitation. And without further ado, I will stop my screen share and let you introduce yourselves and share your presentation with us.
Yeah, so just last year we did a big project together. So I'm Caitlin Cornell, and I was teaching grade 2 French immersion last year.
And I'm Elyse Schlichter, and I was teaching a split 1-2 French immersion last year, and we were able to work together on this project and quite a few other projects as well, making kind of a big group out of both of our classes. First and foremost, we wanted to make sure that the project that we had envisioned was going to have curriculum ties and how we were going to assess those outcomes as well. So in science, there was the Earth systems outcome for the Alberta curriculum. And we needed to identify and discuss a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which Banff, Alberta is. So then that was kind of where the idea started, was how can we bring the kids to Banff? How can we make this authentic learning? Then explain positive and negative impacts of human behavior on plants and animals, and discuss ways to respect plants and animals while interacting in various environments. So that's kind of where the environmental challenge came into play. Like, how could we, as a group, make an impact on a UNESCO site? And then computer science, instructions and directions that can be followed and given in various forms. As you'll see later in the presentation, we used the iPads and an app called Tinkercad and a 3D printer, which was new to all of us. But it was a really cool way of bringing like that computer science to life, and tying it into our project overall.
We also,
Oh, yes.
yeah, we applied for a grant through Bow Habitat Student Action Challenge. So we got a huge grant from that, and that's the way that we were able to kind of do an additional field trip to Banff with our students, which was great. So it was a free field trip for them, which is awesome.
And it was how we paid for the equipment that we needed to use the 3D printer, so that definitely got the ball rolling.
Yeah, so the main idea of the project was how can we help limit litter in our parks and picnic areas? So the students brainstormed ways that human impact can positively and negatively affect the environment. So some questions that we asked were how can we help protect our parks? How can we help the problem here in Airdrie? So we're just in Airdrie, Alberta. We have a park just across the road that we walk to often called Nose Creek Park. And we have like a big water source and picnic areas and everything around there as well. So we brought that up at Nose Creek Park. When we stop and eat a snack, where do we put our garbage? And, most of the students said just in one of the garbage bins. But we do have a few picnic tables around there that don't have close access to picnic or to garbage cans. So bringing that into mind for the students as well. So then what if there is wind or the garbage is blowing away? What do we do then? What can we do to help this? And then we kind of brought that perspective of Banff National Park. So there's a picture of Cascade Ponds, which is where we brought the students. And there are no garbages near the picnic tables because of animals. And so there's bear-proof bins in the parking lot, and then just kind of up where the bathrooms are as well. But it's quite a walk a ways from all the picnic areas. So when it's time to leave, what if we forgot a few pieces of garbage on the table? How could we avoid this problem? And why is this a problem? So kind of talking about, this brings in the animals, the wildlife, and then, we don't want bears interacting with humans. So kind of bringing all of those things in. So students were given time to turn and talk and brainstormed before sharing. And then one of the students came up with the idea of attaching a garbage bag to the picnic table. So we gave them the picture of the picnic table with the garbage all over it. And they were honestly disgusted that anyone would leave an area like that. They're like, why would they do that? And we said, this is something that happens. Like they just couldn't fathom that and understand it. So we then asked all the students, like, how would we attach it to the picnic table? How would we make that work? So then they came up with the idea that we would need some sort of device to hold the garbage bag and ensure that the garbage bag doesn't blow away. So that's kind of where the whole idea stemmed from.
Yep.
That's great. I love that you had those discussions with them, and that you had those talks, and that the idea came from them, and that their reaction is very natural and that they were like, horrified by the garbage. So that's a great conversation to have with them.
Absolutely. It was nice. We had an idea of where we were hoping that it might go, but we did want it to come all from them. So we came up with those kind of guiding questions purposefully, you know, seeing what they could come up with, what designs, which kind of leads into our next part. Once we got into okay, we have a rough idea of how we could help. We wanted to collaborate with another class. So we reached out to George McDougall High School, and they had students from grade 9 French Immersion. And we walked to their school and we presented them with the program, with the problem, just as we did our own students. And then we paired them up into smaller groups and brought different materials such as straws, tape, garbage bags,
Pipe cleaners.
pipe cleaners. And it was kind of like a STEM project. And we said, you know, like, can you build us a prototype? Can you build us what this might look like with your grade 9 buddies? Which was amazing for two reasons. They were able to share, discuss, and collaborate with some older students who brought in kind of a different perspective and like a help when it came to maybe the logistics of how this was all going to work. But it was also a French immersion class. So it was so great for our students to then see, look, maybe one day this is where our French will be. Like, look at them, look at their vocabulary, you know, seeing like all of the grade 9 students' success in French and their ability to share their ideas and speak French quite fluently was kind of something that our students could aspire to, which was really great. So then we were able to then take each group kind of shared with each other, shared with the group what device they had come up with using kind of just the materials we had brought, which was also nice because everybody sat on the floor. And for grade 9 students, it was a very different perspective to
sit on the floor.
Sit on the floor and use tape and use straw and all of that stuff that we do quite often in elementary school. But to see the engagement on both our students and the grade 9 students into how they can make this work was really fascinating to see. So based on those prototypes, we then took pictures of them, took videos, and then we were able to bring that back to our school and then kind of go from there.
So then this took us into Tinkercad, so which is a 3D digital design program. So we just use the iPads for using this program. But this is where we use the scientific method to create designs, print, test, and kind of made observations to make alterations to our designs. So the students tested different versions using Tinkercad. So we were, as teachers, we were able to actually import kind of different designs that other people had made, and then we could add to them as well. Just for grade 1, 2 students, it was kind of hard to, a little bit difficult to give them all of that work to do. However, they could actually just draw in Tinkercad and make their own designs. You can see one of the students has like a hook design. One of them's using their finger. So anything that they draw in there just turns into 3D right away, which is super cool feature as well. But it is a little bit
Finicky.
Yeah, it's tricky. So we really, which was good. It was a good learning process for both us and the students, because we weren't sure how easy it would be either. So yeah, we used the platform on the iPads and had the opportunity to use the scientific method. They changed their designs, observed them, and then we also were able to actually like print out their designs. So we just printed out mini small prototypes to begin with. The first one we printed was a large one because we weren't sure what that looked like. And I think it was actually one of the students that came up with the idea to first of all, make it on a smaller scale, so that, because the big scale, it took, I think, 13 hours the first time to print. And we said that's way too long for us to wait. So if we printed mini models, then it would take only 1 to 2 hours to print each of these models to see if it would actually work. And then we had this idea to come up with different hooks. So one of the students actually ended up putting all the different hooks on one of the devices, and said, can we try this? Because then we can see which hook is going to work the best when we print it.
Without having to print.
Without having to print every single one with a different hook. And we were like, that's a fantastic idea. We didn't even think of that. So that was kind of a huge learning thing for us as well, because the students came up with, you know, ideas that we wouldn't have even thought of. So that was super neat for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure for them as well, like they felt super involved. And I'm curious, how long did that whole process take in terms of like getting them to start playing on Tinkercad and then like printing? Like, was that like a
Yeah, so we had them just play around with Tinkercad the first time, just kind of look at it, draw in it, play around with it, see what it was about. And then that's when we kind of added like assignments to Tinkercad so that they could go in and pick which model they wanted to use. And it was, I don't know, I would probably say like 5 different, maybe
Not
more than
even.
that. Uh-huh.
Maybe 5
Yeah,
lessons, but
5
not
lessons on it.
not a
Not
lot.
too many.
No,
Yeah.
we were able to print kind of, I would say five lessons altogether. As you
Yeah.
like this next slide, you can see like this is the 3D printer, and this is like the students watching it. So we were able to have the 3D printer in our classroom, so the kids could watch as it printed, right? So then every time they would leave for a significant amount of time, recess, music, you know, they'd come back and they'd be like, oh, look how much it has grown, essentially. So it was very nice for them to be able to see kind of the process of it being printed, how long it takes.
If it worked or not. Sometimes
Right.
it wouldn't print properly
Yeah, we
as
had
well.
like print malfunctions, right?
Yeah, and it would have printed for hours and then it didn't work. So
Yeah.
then that was also good for them to see, oh, okay, it didn't work this time. What do we need to do
Right.
for next?
We had different filament that we tried.
Yeah.
We talked about the filament, you know, that was test filament that was less expensive versus a more expensive filament that would be weather resistant. You know, like there were many facets to what we use in the trial and error that they were able to kind of experience. Yeah, we have more notes on that
It's
one.
really nice you had those conversations with them, even at that age. I'm looking at that third picture, and I love how that one of the little boys is just there, like really analyzing
Oh,
and
yeah.
looking at everything, and it's just so symbolic because they really do get involved and they really want it to work. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, their whole world was kind of surrounded by that by the end of the
Yes.
year. So it was
Yeah.
kind of it was awesome because they were so engaged, but it was hard to pull them away from it for sure as
Right.
well. Yeah.
I'm sure.
And then the other thing that we like, not only were we printing, but we were also like, we needed to test all of these models. So then we would put them on the table. We would put garbage bags in. We would see, does if we have something heavy, is it able to not only hold the garbage bag, but hold the garbage that's in it, you know? So depending on the different clips that we had attached, some of them, it would hold a garbage bag, but once we put the garbage in, then it would fall through. So you can see kind of the middle one is our final project, is the final print, is that's the one that we went to Banff to install. And then we opted for more of a lid style. So you put the bag in and then you close the lid on top.
Yeah, I think when we were testing them, the students, because every time the clips would kind of come out.
Yeah.
So then they were like, I think we need a lid of some sort, but we don't want it to have like a fully closed lid because then it's not as easy to access when you're using it. So that was a great idea on the students' part as well. But once we kind of created our model, and we all agreed that this model would work best, the students developed their own instructions on how to use the device by working through each of the steps. So yeah, we used our model, attached it to the table, asked them what would we do first if we didn't know how to use this. And students tested their instructions on each other to ensure they were clear and followed a sequential order. And we also kind of made sure to implement differentiated instructions. So some students drew, some of them wrote in English, and some wrote in French. And then we were able to kind of use all of their instructions and come up with universal instructions together as well. Yeah.
And then that brought us to our trip to Banff. We worked with a team in Banff, before we even started this, we said, like, is this a possibility? And so they have an education director, and she helped us. We met with her a few times prior, and she helped us kind of with our planning our day trip. So she had set up 3 different stations, and there was a team of 8 people, eight parks employees that met us that day. And the kids rotated through 3 stations. So the Parks Canada also does instructional videos of their kind of a funny nature. They have the bear video telling the difference between the bears, and these are music videos with actors, and they're kind of geared towards younger kids, but they were actually going to they're creating a new video called Put Your Food Away, to a song that they had already written. So it just aligned perfectly with what we had been working on. So they asked if our students would be part of the music video, which of course we were thrilled to do. So prior to our visit, we learned the lyrics to Put Your Food Away song, written by the Parks Canada employees. And so our kids were able to then sing and perform, and the directors were kind of guiding them along this process, which is really fun.
And English and French as well. So we were practicing every day English and French. All day.
Then the next station was creating the instructional video. We had previously, as Caitlin said, done all the instructions, so the kids had a script to read, both in English and in French, but we wanted to film it so that attached to the table there would be a QR code to go along with the garbage bag holder, so that if people were out and wanting to use it, that they could scan the QR code on their phones, and then the video would pop up and they would know what the expectation was around these devices. And then the last one was a park cleanup. So the volunteer coordinator was also there, and the kids were able to help clean up the entire park of Cascade Ponds, which was also, part of the curriculum outcomes. So the kids were super happy to be able to participate in all 3. So it made for a really meaningful day. We packed a lot into a short visit, like it was quite a bus ride. So, but the kids really made the most of their day. So it was really great.
That's amazing. That's really good that you were able to do that, and they actually got to see their device like in action, like they got to see it.
Yes. Oh yes. So then after that, we had followed up with Lori Schwartz. About maybe how the device was being received, because our hope is that it's going to be implemented and attached to the tables, permanently for further use. So she was able to share.
Kim, actually.
Oh yes, this is Kim Fisher, the interpretation coordinator for Parks Canada. She shared that the field unit superintendent, Salim Rashid, said he shared that the prototype at the Banff Field Unit Manager team meeting in the summer, and that they were all really supportive of the work the students did. She said that they hadn't tested the prototypes fully yet, but as they need staff to observe how they are being used and ensure folks are putting their garbage in the garbage bins instead of just leaving the bag hanging, which was one of the kind of concerns. As they move forward on the development of the Lake Minnewanka area plan, which includes the Cascade Ponds area, which is where we were, Parks Canada has launched a public engagement process, and they will be collecting input from Canadians and Indigenous peoples, which will help shape the plan. Kim will be putting forward the students' project as a case study for innovation as a part of this work, to recognize the ingenuity of young Canadians and demonstrate the ideas that they can help them explore part of the redesign day of the use area in the Lake Minnewanka area. She also sits on the board of Bow Valley Human Wildlife Coexistence Technical Working Group, and she requested some time to share about this invention to the team at their next meeting. And she let us know that this project continues to have legs in Banff, and will keep us posted. So actually just the other day, we got an email saying that the music video is finished, and published on YouTube.
In
so
French and English.
French and English. So the students are very excited about that.
Yes.
So it's nice to see that even a year later, that it's still a project that continues to evolve.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And that reminds me, we'll stay in touch after, because I know in the article on the print copy, we can't update that, but the one on the digital version, any resources that evolves, we can always just put the links to them. So they'll be able to do that as well as the project evolves. So that is
we'll send those links. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. So after that, we came up with the barcode. So we did the instructional video and put that together. And this, so students use their garbage collecting device at Cascade Ponds to demonstrate how to use it while reading the step-by-step instructions they created in both French and English. So we recorded the video, we edited the video, and created a QR code to attach to the picnic tables to explain all the steps. So that was a very cool experience too, because then we ended up, I guess we're going to talk about that next, hey?
This is the music video filming. Yes, park clean. I guess I've already touched over these. And like going behind the why, as I say, it was part of the curriculum, so I was able to kind of make those specific ties.
So after we recorded the video, we ended up the students were really intrigued on kind of making another device, and they really wanted to have a local connection. So they were asking if we could actually install one in Nose Creek Park, which is just across the street from us. And so we said, yeah, why not? We'll print another one. And then this way we can make adaptations to it too if we need to. And then we can put our QR codes. So we reached out to the city of Airdrie again, and then asked them if we were allowed to literally drill one of our devices into their table, which they said, yeah, no problem. But if the device gets ruined, that's on you guys. We said, yeah, that's no problem. So we went to the park, drilled, took our drill with us, drilled it into the table, attached our QR code, made sure it was all laminated and good to go. And then the students, we had a picnic there, used our device. They actually got to see how it was used, and it worked out really well. They were super excited about it.
It was nice too to have something local, so that a lot of them said that they would return with their families and kind of be able to show off their hard work, and also kind of give a background of what that small device was, because I mean, essentially it was a lot of work and a lot of planning. So being able to kind of share that with their families and everything they learned was really nice too.
Yeah. I'm curious, have you had any feedback from like the community, from families?
Yeah, so they did use it, but then we went back in the fall and it was gone because they had redone all the picnic tables.
Like varnished them.
Yeah, they sand. So I think the city actually took it off and then didn't put it back. So we actually, in the fall, we printed another device, and I was pregnant with twins. So I'm on mat leave right now, but our plan is hopefully, in June, I'm gonna come back to the school, and we'll take the students that we did this with like last year as well, because they were my students this year. I taught grade 3, so I kind of looped with them. So we're going to go meet with them in Nose Creek. I'll come bring my sons with us as well. And then we're going to kind of do another little thing where we'll put it back on the table.
Where the summer, which is great, which works out well, because I mean, essentially there's not many picnics happening in the winter. So it actually worked out well. We'll put it back in June and it'll be there for the
that's amazing. And you'll be able to see the project evolved as well. So
exactly. Yeah.
Throughout the this is you, sorry.
No, that's okay. So we contacted Discover Airdrie to raise awareness about the impact of littering and to inform people that they're welcome to use the devices at Nose Creek Park. So yeah, we connected with them, and then they ended up writing 2 news articles, one about what we did with Banff, and then one that we did at Nose Creek Park. So that was a fun way for them to see that, you know, the work that they were doing was important and was being shared with the public, and people were aware of it as well.
Positive impact on student learning. So as we've kind of gone through the whole time, like the engagement was just phenomenal, right? I think that when you have a project that kids have an end goal of, you know, something that they want to accomplish, their engagement skyrockets. Also, being able to touch so many curricular outcomes through just one project makes it for a very meaningful project, but also it was great for us for assessment because we were able to kind of assess many different curriculum ties through just one evolving project, you know. So, but whether it be like the language aspect, the writing aspect, the science, the social, like there were just so many pieces that were interconnected there. Curiosity, the students showed a keen curiosity for the 3D printing technology. It was something that actually we had never used either. So we were learning alongside the students, but being able to see that kind of literally come to life in front of us and have it printing throughout the day in our classroom made it that much more engaging. And then having the students be able to kind of bring their own adaptations and things that they wanted to change in real time was very help, like the curiosity aspect as well. And then the language benefits. Being in Alberta, teaching French immersion, we don't always get authentic learning opportunities to showcase our French language. So being able to go to Parks Canada, where being bilingual is just such a gift and an important thing to have, showing the students that you know, that being bilingual will open more doors, being able to interact with the parks staff in French, seeing the importance of having the instructions in both English and French, because in Canada that's always a must. So being able to really show the students the importance of the work that they're doing, even at such a young age. And then again, connecting with those grade 9 students, showing them, you know, it might be difficult now, but you know, you will get there. Like look at the grade 9 students, how far they have come, and how many opportunities comes along with that. So it was just nice to have an authentic kind of experience for them that we don't always get.
I feel like they developed a lot of like perseverance, resiliency. Like there's so much, you know, when we'd print one prototype, then we had to print another, and then that didn't work. So getting them to persevere and keep going and making sure that it worked. I think for us too, it was tricky because sometimes we, you know, we were like, I need a break from this. This isn't working tonight. We've already stayed 3 hours after school trying to tinker around with this 3D printing stuff. So we had a lot of support from like our tech team as well. Our technologist was super helpful with helping us. We also had another teacher who had a 3D printer at home that ended up printing a lot of the actual
the final
products, because the one that we had at school didn't print fine enough for us. So we ended up having to use a different 3D printer and then buying him filament. So yeah, we made a ton of connections throughout too, which was great. But I think just in general, seeing the students you know, not give up was huge, a huge part of the project that we really loved seeing as well.
Okay, that's amazing. And just a little quick sideline for the language benefits for those who do read the magazine online. On the online version, we did include the video on how to use the waste disposal device, which is amazing, by the way. I love the videos. So it is on the online version of Engage Learning on the website for those who have access to the subscription online.
Yeah, we actually, thanks to my mom, my mom used to work in communications, so she's retired and helped helped edit the
Edit,
video
yes.
for us because we were out of steam by the end of it. So thanks to her, we have that nicely edited video. The kids really kind of had the idea and stuff for it. But
she was the technical
she was
part
the
behind it.
technical part
Yeah.
behind it right at the end.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and that's kind of our whole presentation.
This kind of wraps up. These are the kids at our day at Cascade Ponds. You can see they're all like beaming with, I think they were so proud to be able to finally show off their device, also be part of a music video. Like it was just such a great day of learning, and what an experience for kids. You know, some of them had never been to Banff. So it was,
or seen the mountains. We had kids on the bus saying, you know, wow, I've never like even
been this
been
close.
this
So
close and
How
seen
long, how long a drive was it for you from?
It's
from
only
Airdrie?
an hour and a half.
An hour and a half. Okay.
Yeah, an hour and a half from Airdrie.
Yeah.
So which for us, both of us love the mountains, and so I think that's kind of where this passion project came from as well. And I have some family members that work for Parks Canada as well, so I'd been chatting with them and they got us connected as well. So I think for us this was like a huge passion project, and we love the mountains, care about the environment, and kind of wanted to make sure that we shared that with our students as well.
And I think what you just said there, Caitlin, I think it's so important because as teachers, like in terms of like when you are taking on a project like this, I'm sure when you first started it, you probably didn't realize how major.
Oh no,
no, we had no idea.
Not at all.
But if it is something that you're passionate about, if it's something that is aligned with your own values as a human being, then I think that makes all the difference, as well as why you went to the end of it. So congratulations on that. It's very impressive. And I have to say, little sideline, as a mom myself with young kids, kindergarten and grade 2, anytime when I read the article, when I saw the pictures, when I saw the videos, I just thought, like, how amazing for kids at that age to be able to be put in that situation, and that we're involving them. They're part of the solution. It's not just the adults telling them like what they need to learn and why it's important, but they're actually living through it. There's nothing as like that is as authentic as it gets. So I would like to thank you on behalf of all the parents out there in terms of what the work you did with your kids, because it's really impressive, really.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm curious, I actually just have, because you went, the presentation was so great. All the questions that I would have had throughout, you already answered them throughout the presentation, which is amazing. I'm just curious in terms of like, we focused a lot on, for the student part of it, the benefits to their learning and like all of the interdisciplinary connections. But for you two as teachers, I mean, it took a lot of work. It took a lot of organization, a lot of patience, a lot of perseverance on your part as well, like learning everything with the 3D printing and so forth, but and working with external partners as well as making all those connections with Parks Canada. What would you say that you learned or you gained as educators, like by facilitating this kind of like that deep connected learning experience? What was the main benefit for you two?
I think for me, it goes without saying that like I could not have done this by myself. So I think having someone to bounce ideas off of, you know, where I lack in technical support, maybe I was able to connect with people or pick up slack somewhere else. Caitlin was really taking the charge on like the Tinkercad aspect things, but it's staying together after school. It's making those connections together. It's, you know, thinking about ideas together. You know, when you're by yourself, it's hard to be like a critical thinker on your own thing, on your own. Also, like just challenging, be like, yes, we can do this. This, you know, like let's, you know, what about this? So I think having like a partner that you can work with who is motivated and who
pushes you.
Yeah, right. Like that was a huge reason why we could get this much done, is because we did it together.
We didn't think it would get this big.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of just
evolved.
Kept going and going, and then we're both very like big idea people too. So what if we did this, and we reached out to this, and we just kept reaching out to different people, and then it kind of grew and grew, and we both have very high expectations for ourselves as well. So we like to get things done.
If we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it well.
We're gonna do it really well. Yeah. So to the best of our ability. So I think, yeah, I think it has to do too with our personalities mesh a lot. We've been working together for a long time. But yeah, like Elyse said, I would not have been able to do this alone, and nor do I think either of us would have the motivation to kind of do that on our own. Yeah, no, great question.
I think the learning aspect, what I learned the most, was how important it is to reach out to your community.
Yeah.
It is surprising how much your community wants to be a part of your learning community. So this year, I'm, Caitlin's on mat leave, but I'm still working. So I got the grant again through Bow Habitat. So I've connected with the city of Airdrie, B City, just different people with Rocky View schools. So having members of the community come in, like I'm not an expert in many things, but I can reach out to those experts, and anytime that you can lean on the community to come into the school, or we can walk, like we did outdoor learning this year.
Before I went on mat leave, yes.
Every Wednesday we spent outside, rain or shine, and just seeing who you can walk to in the community, who you can reach out to, is just so amazing for the kids to get the information from somebody other than me. So I think that was a huge learning curve too.
And I think that's great advice for other teachers out there watching this, maybe as replay later on, that if they're thinking of doing a project like this or a different type of project, to maybe like to partner up with colleagues, with the community, and with other members of their team, like just to not do it alone, because I think I'd be the same. I think if I was to do it by myself, it's a bit scarier, and it's maybe more overwhelming, but when you're doing it as a team, then you have someone that you can rely on and so forth. So no regrets, you do it again?
Oh gosh. No, it was, and I think, as much work as it was, that was probably one of the best years we've ever had. It was one of the coolest things we've ever done.
We'll do it again. Just something different.
Amazing. Well, we'll have to stay in touch in terms of the work you're doing and the continuation of this, and if there's other developments in the project for this specific project, we definitely want to hear about it. And then in your future projects as well, let us know. I'm just going to take the screen back for 2 seconds here just to conclude this session. Amazing. I really loved your presentation, ladies. So as we're concluding, I just wanted to let everyone know that once the recording is available, you can find it on the Engage Learning website's training section. We just put all of our videos there. So when you're on the main page, we have the sections for events and training, and they'll be in this section. So you'll see the title and so forth. It'll be there, and I'll send it to you too as well specifically. And I just wanted to share my contact information. If anyone has questions, if any of our viewers, listeners wants to reach out, if you're curious about the project and want more information about the article from Caitlin and Elyse, just let us know, and we can always send that to you directly. And if there's questions that you have for Elyse or Caitlin, I'll be happy to relay them and get back to you on that. So I'd like to thank very sincerely both Elyse and Caitlin for joining me today, for having accepted this invitation, for having written the article, for having done the project with the students. I think it's amazing and so inspirational. And again, it just relays authentic learning at its best in terms of, especially with the sustainable development goals. So really, really happy that you joined us today. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
It's always nice to share.
Yeah.